Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show.
Welcome to Rebels Cast. My name is Jonathan. Joining me today is Nicki.
Hello.
And of course, Nick and Josh could not make it. A lot of technical issues, scheduling, kind of gets in the way,
Yeah.
So, just us tonight, and tonight we're discussing Empire Day. So, this episode is a very, I think the first thing that kind of comes to mind is the Imperial March. I know you like that.
Oh yeah. I like hearing the hints of the old score, so to speak.
Yeah, and we got a couple different instances with mixed in with other kinds of music.
Yeah. No, I definitely like that.
I think we got some like at the beginning, like during the Empire Day, the
parade that was going on.
And then I think we got it like a little later.
Yeah, I think there was a little of it during some scenes with the Imperial officers.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting, really cool episode overall.
I agree, yeah.
Before we get into the episode, I just wanted to mention first that on Friday, in select theaters, they will be showing the Star Wars The Force Awakens teaser trailer.
Yep.
So...
In select theaters, in select cities.
Yep. So that's kind of to be determined what all the exact theaters are. But it's like it's either Thursday or Friday that we're getting the Jurassic World trailer. Like they have a website, like a fake website of counting down. And you know what? Then Star Wars kind of comes along and just kind of out. Beats them out. So unfortunately, the Jurassic World trailer is going to be kind of.
I actually have the Star Wars teaser trailer list of theaters.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I should check that out.
Sadly...
I looked at the Regal one lately, but I didn't see my name. I didn't see our city, so...
Yeah, it's about 40 minutes from here, from where I am, so...
Yeah. So it's just kind of crazy. I really thought they'd wait to maybe till December, but... it's amazing how the variety of when the stuff is released, because, the Charlie Brown film, the trailer, the second trailer was just released earlier this week, and that's not coming out till December 2015 as well, so.
Yeah, I think they wanted, once they had the title, they wanted to give us a little taste of what we were going to see, because we've all been kind of going, what, give us just a hint.
Yep. So it's going to be about a 90-second trailer, they said.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think Comic Book Movie is the first website I saw with it.
StarWars.com has the list.
Right. And when I saw it from comicbook.com, I'm like, because they haven't had the best track record lately. I've been I'm also part of Nuff Said, and I'm kind of been someone who's been kind of against the other guys. I'm like, come on, look at this. They concentrate on Variety article, and they put one little thing about it, and then you write a whole article about it.
Yeah, you have to be really careful about where you get where we get our information.
And then another article. Their source was the Latino Review. Then I'm like, what are you guys doing? But that's for another show. I just can't talk about it. So anyway, so to get into the episode, we start off with this another little teaching kind of little moments. And I kind of like it. I think hopefully we'll get more of these little, sprinkled in with each episode, they're training and then, they get called to the mission.
Exactly. I was glad they kept it. They didn't make a whole episode about it because I think a lot of people would find that boring or uninteresting. Because I know some people who kind of like, well, I don't want to watch a whole thing about being trained to be a Jedi. But I like that we're getting little bits of it. We're getting different types of training each time. It's not just, okay, lift the rock. Okay, now do this. We're getting new lessons each time, which I think helps us learn along with Ezra.
I'm pretty sure I heard Yoda's theme somewhere in there.
I thought I did too, but I wasn't sure, and I watched it twice. So we shall see if that was actually the case. At least a little hint of it.
Yeah, so I like the little... I'm not quite sure what kind of... Is there another animal we've seen in the Star Wars universe that's kind of like this?
No, it was... I watched that part. I was like, oh my god, that's the cutest little vicious kitty cat I've ever seen in my life. Because at first it was all trying to eat Ezra, and then, Kanan used the Force and calmed it down. It was just so friggin' cute. I was just like, oh, I want one now. Whereas, when we saw in, Attack of the Clones, those creatures, I'm like, not so much. I don't want one as a pet.
No.
No Nexu for me. No, but I'll take one of those. Yeah. It's kind of like a cross between a Pikachu and a Hello Kitty.
Yeah, I can see that. I've heard Pikachu.
Big mouth, and those cute little ears.
Yeah.
I'm not a Pokemon person, but I know who Pikachu is.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely cool, and it's like, and it kind of, let's see, wasn't there, I'm trying to think, there was an episode of Clone Wars where I think it was either Obi-Wan or Anakin who managed to calm some kind of animal and was able to push them using the Force back into a cave or something. Yeah,
I can't remember which episode that was, but I do remember that. And Obi-Wan's done that before, so he did it in Attack of the Clones. That creature he got to ride around on in not Attack of the Clones, in Revenge of the Sith. That little creature he got to ride around on and hopping all over Geonosis.
Right. I think another thing that Kanan pointed out is attachments.
Yes, he did. And he didn't seem as you must detach from everything. He kind of acknowledged that you are attached to things, whereas the other Jedi we know have kind of taught against forming attachments. Or he was kind of like, no, you're gonna have attachments.
He has some kind of relationship with Hera,
Yeah.
That's definitely attachments.
And I think that kind of reflects kind of the new way the Jedi are going to deal with the circumstances. It's going to be part of the new training, as maybe be reflected in The Force Awakens. That maybe Luke, even though George Lucas never wanted Luke to get married, maybe, it's okay. Maybe Jedi are trained in the future to have or to be able to have attachments, but be able to put them aside or not focus on them so much as non-Jedi might do. But it might herald a change in Jedi training, is the short way of saying what I said in a very long way.
Right. So I know he said something about letting go of other things, but then to also attach.
Right.
To something. That's definitely...
And it could be to a person or to love or to a cause or to something like that, because these guys are obviously attached to fighting the Empire.
Right. It's just very, very, you gotta, I can definitely see Kanan saying, you gotta relax. Just let them, almost like the Talladega Nights, where it's if you're anxious, the cougar is going to, be a, you know what I mean? And then eventually you kind of, the
you
cougar...
can sit in the front seat with the cougar and give it a little pet. Give Karen a pet.
Yep, Karen. Down.
I love... Down.
Down.
I love that movie.
Yes. I think it doesn't hit a lot of people's favorite comedies list and Will Ferrell's, but I think it's just great.
It's a great quotable film.
Yeah. So we have that little moment, and then it's kind of calm away, and we have kind of a...
And the action begins.
Yep.
And we find out that there's a thing called Empire Day,
yes.
Which hopefully doesn't have a song like Life Day.
Oh my gosh.
With the drunk Carrie Fisher.
I asked my mom, I asked her, did you remember this? And she's like, I showed her, the commercial, the ad, and she's like, you know what? I vaguely remember this. And I told her, how awful it is. She's like, oh, okay.
There's a reason it was only aired once.
And it's all bootleg, right?
Yeah. I have it on VHS bootleg and DVD bootleg, and some of the funniest parts are if you get one with the commercials.
Oh, okay.
Because you get commercials from 1978.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean George had to at least let it air once, and then after that it was locked away.
Yeah, I disown
and it was pretty awful.
I disown it. I disown it. You know.
What? Holiday what? No. We don't do that.
Yeah, so Empire Day, and, you know, we see that they're on some kind of mission, you know, and I think it's interesting, we get to see this cantina where we see Ithorian, right?
Yeah. Wait, Rhodians?
No, the Ithorian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that I don't think we've actually seen one talk before, you know, and it had like with the translator.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because we've only seen it before, just kind of making their own like tone,
right?
Their own like language.
And you have to like find someone who can actually speak that language,
right? So it's
or at least understand it.
You know, so we kind of understand that we kind of we learn more about how there's a, you know, imperial hollow.
The Hollow News.
Yeah, the Hollow News, and it's like it's the law, you know.
It's like CNN for the Empire.
You know, it's like no one's ever requested it.
Yeah. Ever. The glorious day to remember our glorious emperor. Yeah, that was like. I was like, can we turn it to the MSNBC version? Because this is very much propaganda going on right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
But it is cool to see, like, how they communicate. Because we never really got to see that in the trilogy, so.
Right, I mean, I think is that, you know, this planet, it's much more further out. I mean, I think more, you know, more closer to Coruscant, you know, it's more, you know, the Empire's more occupied, and there's more monitoring, and that it's always on. Versus out here, where the Empire has less of a presence, so there's not as many people to, you know, like this officer to tell them to turn it on.
Right. It's like nobody really watches the news; they just want to watch, you know, pod racing. You know, it's kind of very typical of being in a cantina or a bar. And it's like, who wants to watch the news in a bar?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I don't go to bars. So, I assume there's usually, you know, sports on the TV.
Yeah.
But it was kind of cool to see it and to see, how the rebels kind of interrupt the proceedings of the propaganda network.
Right.
So,
you know, and
kind of like seeing that David Niven type face up on the screen.
Yeah, and he's kind of like, yeah, you got to turn it off now.
Yeah, you turned it off. Well, you wanted to. My response would be like, you wanted me to turn this on.
No, I can't. It's the law.
now it's on. I followed your. but yeah, I think the rebels have much more of a presence than the Empire wants to admit.
Right. So let's see. Next, you know, so we have the different Imperial March variations, like we said. And then, you know, I know Ezra, you know, this is kind of a, you know, big day for him. And, you know, he decides to kind of, you know, seclude himself. You know, he goes back to his little home, you know.
Yeah. I felt so sorry. I mean, this is kind of like we're getting some of Ezra's backstory finally. And kind of finding out why he's alone. And it was really sad to realize that this was his birthday.
Yeah.
And that 15 years ago, he was born.
Yeah, so that would be around Order 66, right?
That's probably right after, because the Empire fell the Republic fell not long over after Order 66. It was just a few months in the timeline for the entire Empire to fall, or Republic to fall. I just want the Empire to fall. I guess that's my Freudian slip. But I was glad we kind of found out what happened. It was sort of found out what happened to Ezra's parents, because I just kind of felt bad, and I was wondering, you know, where are his parents? And I, you know, automatically think that they're dead, kind of a la Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, but to find out that they were some of the original rebels. So he comes by it honestly, and that they used to do, you know, broadcasts from their house until the Empire found them.
Right. So we see that the Empire, you know, in the midst of this Empire Day, you know, what's going on? They're trying to, you know, find this Rhodian, you know.
Yeah. The yellow-skinned Rhodian.
Yeah, it was a bit, and I looked at the picture, I'm like, it's a bit hard to tell, because for me, Rhodians look kind of the same.
Yeah, this one was a little more yellowish than green Greedo-ish.
Yeah.
But they were checking every Rhodian.
Right.
I don't think it mattered what color they came out to be. Every time I saw them look at a Rhodian, it was various shades of green. But I'd never seen one that yellow before.
Right. I think it's interesting that they always say, like, all the Imperial, whether it's the minister or the officers, they always say, enjoy the celebration, citizen.
Yes. Well, they're like the SS in Nazi Germany. It's
like we're all this community. We're all citizens.
Yeah, everybody does the same thing. You must do what everybody else does, kind of thing. You must show allegiance by watching this parade. It's like, not so much.
Yeah.
And some people are very proud of their imperial backgrounds.
Right.
And nobody was cheering, and then they're like, hey, show some enthusiasm, basically. It's like, oh, yay, yes, this is fantastic. Yes, this parade is lovely. And the fireworks, and then, with the fireworks that Sabine created. I thought that was kind of cool.
Oh yes, and we see that there's like this, excuse me, that they've rolled out the TIE Advanced Starfighter. Yes,
it looks so amazing.
So I've heard people kind of speculate exactly where it kind of fits in the evolution of the TIE fighters. It's kind of Darth Vader's TIE Advance.
Right.
What's the similarity? Like, what's as far as the evolution between these two?
Well, they both have the bent wing, but I think that Vader's TIE Advanced had larger, what we call the wings on the TIE, and they were pointed in the front. So it wasn't as rounded the wings weren't as rounded as the TIE Advanced. Like here, like the one that the Inquisitor flies is much more compact. It looks like it's all closed up. And then it opens and it just kind of pulls out to put the wings out at its maximum. But the wings don't open. They just kind of stay kind of looks like a sandwich when it's all bent together, when it's all on the ground. But yeah, so it has different functions than the TIE Advance that we see in the trilogy.
Right. So I'm just kind of wondering, this prototype they bring out. I mean, they look the same to me. I mean, are they the same?
The regular TIEs?
No, I mean like the Inquisitors and the one they were showing off.
Oh, yeah, those pretty much look the same. The Inquisitors is a little, the way it folds in its wings was a little different than a typical one, the ones we see later. But yeah, I think there's not much you could do with the TIE Fighter, really. Yeah. I mean, you could do the bent wing, you can do the Interceptor, you can do the Advance, you can do the double.
Yeah, it's always going to look like a TIE.
It's always going to look like a TIE Fighter. And, as long as it's got the twin ion engines, it's a TIE Fighter, so.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a shield.
It doesn't have a shield, because they don't need them. They're short-range fighters.
Though I think we've learned before that, Darth Vader's TIE Fighter is like his, souped up, like it's personal.
Yeah, it's like his Corvette. It's his midlife crisis TIE Fighter, and it's definitely got all the bells and whistles.
Right, including a hyperdrive.
Yeah, exactly. I think his could last. I think it's probably a little bigger, and it has all his life support equipment on it, probably. Because even if he's stuck spinning out of control, say after being shot at by the Millennium Falcon, it has to be able to maintain his life.
Right. I mean, I'm going to assume that that's how he probably flew to the nearest station, using the hyperdrive on his thing because there was nothing else left.
Right. Right. He had to find the nearest either a Star Destroyer or a planet that was controlled by the Empire.
Right. So let's see what happens. So next, we saw the fireworks, and of course we have Sabine, explosion.
Yes, I like that she's become more of has more of a role, because getting to know her better, I'm all for that. So I like that she's more involved in their missions into the city. She's not just like painting somewhere.
Yeah.
But then we get to see my favorite Imperial. We get to see Callus. So.
Right. I do think it's interesting that we have, like, I think, I've seen this, like, in other shows and movies and stuff where it's like, the enemy does something to impress, like the good guys do something to impress the enemy, and they're like, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, we plan to do that, even though it wasn't really them, thank you, Minister, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what we had in mind.
And it's just kind of like everyone's kind of they were all kind of distracted anyway by the celebration.
Right. Nobody's really, some people are, some of the stormtroopers are looking for the Rodian. Some of them are making sure people are applauding appropriately. And then you've got, the big muckety mucks like Callus and the Inquisitor who are really, really intent on finding this Rodian friend of Ezra's.
I mean, it's a pretty big episode when you have really both of them, in the same vicinity.
Right, and I love Callus. I don't know if it's his voice, but I really like that character. I think he's just kind of deliciously bad, a bad guy. But I love how his helmet, his bucket, kind of looks like it's his mutton chops.
Right.
I was like, wow, he's really trying to protect those, isn't he? And then when we see the Inquisitor get into his tie, and it made me think of Darth Revan.
Oh yeah.
His helmet kind of made me think of Darth Revan. I thought that was a really cool way to bring that in. And I thought he just looked so awesome. I mean, I know he's the bad guy, but sometimes you just love the bad guys.
If there are any like so actually, I'll send you the picture to see. Okay, if there's any anime fans out there, I will show you Zero's helmet, and it looks a lot like the Inquisitor's.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it in the chat. See if you can get. Let's look at it. See if you can open that up.
Okay, let's see what this looks like. Oh, that is a cool looking helmet.
Yeah, and that's what immediately I thought. I mean, it looks like so similar.
It does. It does really look similar.
And I can think of another anime, Excel World, where it looks similar also. It's like an all, like, it's like just a very, very simple kind of, like, cover-up. But it fits his head, like, perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't think it would fit anybody else, except maybe his same species, maybe. I think it's kind of interesting that, the Empire kind of, they're very specious, but it seems like, they're all humans, except that I suppose Darth Vader kind of made an exception with the Inquisitor.
Right. Unless, this is a species we don't really know about. I mean, he kind of looks like a little like Darth Malak. But it just could be someone that has ingratiated himself into Vader's inner circle.
Right.
And I think, with Vader, it's kind of like you're evil.
Right. It doesn't matter if you're not human.
Right. He's, he just wants to get the job done, and sometimes the best people are not human, or best, are, really evil-looking, bounty hunters and stuff like that. So, but there's so many species we don't know of yet.
Right.
And so we don't know what their capabilities are. But
and it's not like the other officers are going to, like, say, hey, look at that non-human. They would,
right.
Get themselves killed.
That's kind of one of the really nice things about Star Wars is, like, from the beginning, everybody is kind of accepted for exactly what they are. There's no, like, oh, you're a Draconian, oh, no, you're from Alistair, Everybody, like, in that cantina scene in episode 4, it's just, everybody's just there, and it didn't matter what species anybody was.
Unless you were a droid.
Unless you were a droid, because you weren't, technically a biological.
Right.
But that's one of the wonderful things that Star Wars, I think, is a message from Star Wars, was that everybody is equal. Nobody is discriminated against based on what their species is or what they look like. It's basically if you're good or you're bad.
Right.
If you're Empire or if you're Rebel, that's what people are judged on. They're not judged on their appearance or their race. And I thought, even as a little kid, when I saw Empire Strikes Back, that's one of the things that I really took away from it, was that everybody was treated equally bad or equally good.
Yeah, and I think like the cantina scene is kind of very, very much in contrast to, say, like the Empire,
right?
Where it's like all white male,
right? Yeah, you don't see any female officers. You don't see anyone of color. Well, we don't know what's under the bucket, under the helmets.
Yeah.
So that, to be fair. But yeah, everybody is uniform, and that is, I think, where George Lucas was drawing from the Third Reich, in that there was a way you were supposed to look, and there was an image that you had to uphold, and everybody had to look a certain way. Whereas the rest of the world is a melting pot. The Nazis and the stormtroopers, they were all white. They all looked like Aryans. So I think in Star Wars, that was a great commentary that George made about society. It was like, we can all get along, even if we're not the same species.
Right. And I think one of the really funny moments of this episode is when you have drunk Kanan. It's like all these colors, this rainbow.
Oh, so pretty.
And of course, when it's all crazy. It's not like they're really not like the stormtroopers are gonna be like, wait a sec, you guys are too close in age. No, they're just like, it's just all this chaos, with their helmets and the fireworks. You're like, okay, whatever. You guys just move along. Just
move along. Nothing more to see here. Just move along. I think, the stormtroopers are kind of like cops in a way. It's just like, as long as they're not like causing trouble, just move along. We're not going to worry about them. I think that's probably one of the best ways to get away from, or to not be noticed, is to be acting normally. And just be a person not sneaking around or trying too hard.
Right. And just acting normal, and of course being drunk.
Yeah.
Is that acting normally?
On Empire Day, yeah, apparently everybody likes to toast a little bit. But...
Right. Oh, yeah, speaking of toasting, in that cantina, they had everyone kind of like toasting.
Yeah, and raise your glasses. It was like, okay. Everybody's like, oh, God. Yeah, yay, smile, fake smile, we're raising our glasses. Can we put our hand down now?
Right, so we kind of get so we learn a little more about Ezra's parents, and, more about, that they were some kind of rebels, doing these broadcasting.
Yeah, they were doing like a pirate radio for the burgeoning rebellion.
Right.
So it's possible they knew some of the people who were affected. Like maybe they knew of Padme and Obi-Wan and all those people.
Right. So we learn that, Ezra learns that, he's looking for Zebo. What did you think of this guy? I
thought he was kind of adorably clumsy, but he's got the Lobot type headset on, which is affecting his, and I'm a big Lobot fan, so I was like very, oh my God, fangirl moment. So it was affecting the way he thought, and it was affecting probably his biological functions, like how he moves and stuff. And the fact that all that information was in there. And I was just fascinated by what was being shown, like what he knew, and figuring out that's why the Empire wants him back, because he's got this information that they can't let anybody else get.
Yeah, like the AT-ATs, the TIE bombers, the new TIE bombers, the shuttles. I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, shuttle Tidarian. That's the shuttle I always think of when I see the pictures, the shuttle Tidarian, and it was so cool to see blueprint forms of those, because I have some of the blueprints because they sold, in a book.
Right.
You could buy the blueprints, but I've never seen those particular ones, and it looked like that was the AT-AT Walker that we know.
Right.
And love. I was like, oh my God, and that's like next to the Falcon. That's my favorite vehicle, is the AT-AT Walker. So it was very cool to see that. Nothing on the Death Star, which was interesting.
Right.
Because it's in process of being built right now, because we're only 3 years out from A New Hope. But it is built in secret, and only a few people actually knew that the Death Star was being built. So, but I thought it interesting that all the ships were on this, but not the Death Star. And then other information that I'm assuming is on there that's not just technical, but probably like, attack plans or battle plans and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of just wondering, what was the actual... they say he escaped, Probably,
I can only think of, information overload. I mean, I don't think he's supposed to have all that information, because it sounds like, I mean, from what they were saying, he was kind of a low-level technical worker. So maybe he got information into his headgear that he wasn't supposed to have, and that's why they need to find him.
Yeah, maybe he actually, purposely put it all in there, but then he kind of is just, but then
he didn't realize what it would do to him.
He's kind of like, oh, okay, and they finally kind of, I think the way they Ezra fixed him was just gave him a headbutt.
Yeah. Like, everything kind of fell back into place. I think if they download that information and get it out of his headset, I think it'll help him a lot. And he did know Ezra's family, and he did know that they were part of the rebellion, so it's possible he stole that information intentionally.
Yeah, I look how tech savvy Sabine is. She even knows how to, hack into and do all this kind of technical stuff. It's just very.
She's a very smart girl. I like that. I like that she's not just the girl, the chick in a film, in a like who could, oh look, you have to come save me all the time. But no, she's gonna be the one to come in and save you.
Yeah.
So I like that she knows that she has. I mean, she's incredibly tech savvy, and she's pretty good at strategy. Whereas you have Zeb, who's the muscle.
Right.
And the kind of the comic relief, and then you have Chopper, who's just awesome on every level, even when he's frizzing out. Because he got shot, he got an owie tonight, or get an owie on this episode. So
yeah, I think we always have to have that moment where Ezra tries to always says something to Sabine that sounds very. What's the word? Very almost flirty or almost.
Yeah, he's being very he's flirtatious.
He's like
with Sabine. He's like trying. It's like he's 15 years old, and he's hitting on probably an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen. I mean,
no chance anywhere. No chance on Mustafar that he's gonna get anywhere with her.
Yeah, I like it's like no chance on Mustafar.
Well, that's that to me is the hell of.
Though I remember in Clone Wars they did say hell. Once,
yeah, they did.
Once.
Yeah, that was Cartoon Network. You got away with a lot more.
Yeah.
And it was later. It was usually aired later.
Yeah. Plus, but I think I like Mustafar because it's like it literally is hell.
It is. That would be my version, though. That's not where I want to go.
Yeah. Like, what in Mustafar are you doing?
What in the name of all?
So,
I did like that we got a really cool chase scene.
Oh yeah, well one more thing in that other moment.
Yeah.
Like it seems like Zeb is like always there to like spoil Ezra's little moment.
Yeah, he's the big brother who always just has to, make a snide little comment.
And actually, I think Sabine. I've heard people say that she's actually 16.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen anything with her actual age.
Because it's like, I'm trying to remember on the database. I think it's like she was born like it doesn't actually give like before the Battle of Yavin, but it's like I'm trying to think. I don't want to quote it wrong. I can look it up some other time, but it's just like but I think her birthday like aligns with like around this time or something. Okay, now this is gonna bother me.
Yeah, she's 20. She was born 21 years before the Battle of Yavin.
Right, so 21 minus Rebels is 4. It's 5 years before.
3.
What?
It's 15 years since the Empire came into power, and A New Hope is 18 years.
I thought it was.
After.
Wait,
No, because Luke and Leia are 18 in A New Hope.
Oh, I thought they were 19.
No, they're 18.
Oh, okay.
Yes, by the age of 16, Sabine had joined the Lothal rebels after her family became affected by the Empire.
Yeah, which we don't actually know the exact date of that.
Right. She's a Mandalorian human. Yeah, so she's 18 because it says that she started around 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, and if we're 3 years out now, then...
Okay, see, I could have sworn Rebels takes place like around 4 or 5 years before A New Hope.
I heard, no, it's 3 because of the ages of the twins.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, because I think in the biography it says, by the age of 16, I guess people just kind of assumed that was...
By the time she is 16, she's become a member, but it says that was 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. Okay. So she would have been 16, and then add 2 more years, she's 18.
Okay.
Because we're 3 years out.
Okay. I mean, it's still not very, because, I've heard of...
Yeah, it's all up in the air. The BBY and ABY is all... depends on who you ask, really. I think everybody has, well, this happened then and this happened then. So yeah. She's about 18.
Right. Which I think it makes a little more sense than...
If she was closer to Ezra's age, she'd probably be a little more into the flirting thing, if that's what she likes.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Let's see. Where were we?
The chase scene?
Yes, the chase scene.
That was a great chase scene.
Yes. Yeah. Let's see.
It involved so many. I mean, the Inquisitor was involved, the Callus was involved, and we had speeder bikes and transports and TIE fighters, all to find this one little Rodian.
I think it's interesting that we've gotten, in this episode, we've gotten, so many characters we've gotten from previous episodes.
Right, it was like they finally all come together in one episode.
It's like the Minister just kind of, pops up here. It's like, oh, yeah, we don't really have, enough money to, make another character, so let's just use Reese here.
Well, she's like, well, she got invited, the governor got invited to attend the festivities with the Emperor himself. And it's like, ooh, yay. No, she probably got called in.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like... Yeah, because, it's not like, Lothal is kind of, near the Outer Rim, and it's like, I'm guessing, some people would rather just, stay in, close to Coruscant and, go see the Emperor,
Right. The big celebration would be on Coruscant. I mean, the whole planet is one big city, so...
The whole planet is one big city. Look, there's Chancellor Valorum.
Thank you, Rick.
Oh my gosh, he didn't get enough time.
No, I agree.
Let's see. Yeah, so we have the chase scene, and it's definitely kind of reminds me of Spark of Rebellion, where we had previous, spikers kind of going down, and, we have these, what are these armed transports? What are they called again? Do we have a name for them?
They just call them transports. I didn't hear any specific name for them. They were just like police cars or SWAT vehicles, kind of. Like they carried stormtroopers.
Yeah, it's almost like the transporter from Aliens.
Yeah.
So
they were just transports, and then you had the TIE fighters involved, and then you had the ATSTs involved.
Yeah, it's just an all-out. I mean, you see, Callus just, jumping on the back of one.
Yeah, that was really cool. It was like an old-school chase scene, but then it was also like, when he and Kanan are on top, it was like one of those old movies where they're having a fight on the top of a train. Yeah, like in The Wolverine, or some classic 1950s film,
or even like Bond, like Casino Royale.
Yeah, exactly.
Or is it Skyfall? I can't remember
the train scene.
Yeah.
Oh God, I don't remember now. I don't think it was Skyfall. I don't remember it happening.
Okay, so it must have been Casino Royale.
I think it was, yeah, because I haven't seen that one for a long time. So.
Right. So we kind of get this thing where he's like, halt, He's like, and they just kind of smash through, and it's like, these AT-STs, they're good, but they're very fragile.
Yeah, and they're not very good shots.
It's just like one little slam to the leg, and boom, it's just down.
Yeah, and I always wondered that about the AT-STs, was that they could get off balance so easily because they were so top-heavy. So I don't know really how functional those things actually are.
At least the ones in the Clone Wars were a little agile,
Yeah, they were a little more sturdy.
And they could, run or jump and
right.
That kind of thing. But these
are they're top. There's too much on top. Or they're too tall for what they're carrying.
Yeah, and their legs are just too
they can't really support everything they want to do.
You know. So, I mean, they're really good at blowing stuff up and holding down, like...
As long as they're standing still, they work fine.
Yeah.
They don't do so well once they start moving.
Yes. They're good guarding.
Yeah. Put them outside, like they kind of had them blocking the freeway, so to speak.
Right. So, I mean, that's about it. I mean, we have a lot of mystery here.
It's a two-parter. It's a to be continued.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we've had, we never had this in the Clone Wars,
Right.
And it's just like an old-fashioned kind of to be continued.
Yeah, it's like, but now, I'm like, tell me now! It's the first time I've really been, but what happens next?
Right.
Because they've all kind of been standalones, so you don't really get that urgency. And this one I'm like, but it's not over. Tell me more. Yeah. Are they going to be okay? Is Callus going to be okay? Can I get more of the Inquisitor, please?
Right. More Inquisitor, please.
Yeah, please, sir. Can I have some more?
Yeah, so we kind of get, I mean, it's not a super cliffhanger, but, it's
No, but it's just like, we don't know what is going to happen.
Because, I mean, you're dealing with the Inquisitor here. It's not just a couple average TIE pilots,
Right. This tells you how important it is for the Empire to get this Rodian, to get poor little Zebo back in their clutches. Like, something's really going on. I think we need to deliver this guy to the main headquarters of the rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for Empire Day, I think they could have gotten him a lot easier. Just the distraction of getting in and out.
Right. Yeah, I think, or if they had maybe, I don't know, it's just like, he was out there and because of Empire Day, people were they were looking out.
Yeah, and they just couldn't really, because, if they were to kind of put it off or something, or cancel the celebration, people might get suspicious or question things.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to question the Empire.
Right, and I think it's just like, they have some kind of routine of just kind of just a regular thing. Except this year they have fireworks.
Right, which they all were like, but we didn't. Oh, yes. Yes, we did these. Because that governor was, we didn't. Oh, you like them? Oh, yes, we did those just for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ministers,
typical bureaucrat.
Yeah. I definitely look forward to all these characters returning. I'm really hoping we'll get more of, we got the Kyber Crystal a few episodes back.
Right.
And then I hope we're going to get, an actual, even if it's just like an episode 2 where we got, like we got, not episode 2, but, the film.
The Attack of the Clones.
Right, so we got the hologram of the Death Star. I hope we get something at least like that.
I would like to see, like, some hints of the Death Star, because it was supposed to be this big secret project, but it's kind of hard to do a big secret project with building something that's about the size of a moon.
Yeah, so I'm hoping at the end of the season we get, even more of these kind of, because I think seeing these plans was just kind of a taste, so I'm kind of hoping that...
we need more of these Easter eggs, so to speak, of things that bring to mind the Star, because we're getting closer and closer to the events of A New Hope, so we need to start seeing things fairly soon that look as much like that as possible.
I mean, this is about the same time frame, between the episode 2 and 3, I suppose, maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
I suppose I didn't realize it was that close.
Well, I just go based on the twins' age, and that they were 18 with A New Hope, so, and they were born as the Republic fell, so.
Yep.
And that's based also on, like, some of the novels and the chronology books, which are, of course, now not canon.
Right. Well, of course, were they ever canon? It's debatable.
I think the nonfiction stuff was, like, the guide to the characters and the guide to the planets and all that stuff was. But, everything changes.
Yeah. Okay, I think, is there anything else we want to cover on this episode?
I just really am looking forward to the continuation of this episode.
Yep, same here. I look forward to, hearing more of Ezra's story now that we have, like, some... well, we're not quite now, but, maybe a little later when we have some more quiet time, maybe we can, like, learn more of Ezra's background I definitely,
Right.
or kind of sprinkled in here, because we see that, Ezra's parents, could be, a pretty big part of this, empire.
Right. We don't know where they are. We don't know if they're dead, or Ezra doesn't know either, so they could be alive out there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning more towards dead, but...
Yeah. I mean, it follows a pattern with Star Wars to have parents, be not around, so...
Right. Alright, I think we're going to close this thing out. So, Empire Day, great episode. Look forward to the next part, and then next week will be or the next episode will be the mid-season finale.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's already halfway.
Right.
It just seemed like just a year ago, it seemed like the show was like, just forever, it was like so long, oh my gosh, it's in a year. Now episode 7 is in a year.
Yeah. It's all happening so fast. It was like before it was, when's it finally going to be here? And now we're upon it. We're about a year out from episode 7 or whatever they're going to call.
Yeah. I think in the credits it'll say episode 7, but I guess as the marketing it won't be episode 7.
Yeah. I think on the scroll it will reflect that it's episode 7. So I'm just very excited to finally see some footage and see how everything's going to work out. See if all those rumors are true or if they're all a bunch of bull.
Right. So where can people find us, Nicki?
On Facebook, we are facebook.com/Radio Free Andor. Do we have a Rebels Cast Facebook?
We do not. It's kind of... I thought of making one, but I'm like, I think other podcasts that do kind of like a Star Wars network, they kind of just have it all in one.
Yeah. So on Facebook, Radio Free Andor, and on Twitter @Radio Free Andor. And we post things here and there about all things Star Wars. I just posted the list of theaters where you can find the first teaser trailer this weekend. You can find Jonathan on Twitter @JEBell49er and me @IHeartColson.
Yep, and because I really can't manage any more Twitter or Facebook pages. I mean, I already have 3.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not sure if I can.
Yeah, I have a lot. Too,
so. So it's just, and I kind of forget about. Oh yeah, I forgot about this one because I used to be so into social media. I'm like, now I'm actually forgetting. And then I look at my Radio Free Indoor. I'm like, wait a second, I haven't tweeted like out of here for like 4 days. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's just gotta keep waiting for new information.
But yeah. Okay, yeah. So just kind of come on over, tell us what you think of the episode, write a review on iTunes, do all that kind of stuff, and go to the Southgate Media Group Facebook page. Lots of shows going on. There's a place where you can donate and get kind of discounts on different kind of items and stuff. Because that's what keeps us going. Okay, so I think that's it. And until next week on Rebels Cast, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Nicki.
Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.